Good evening and welcome to the 2024 USA Climbing National Team Trials. We are getting ready for the lead women's finalists.
First out of the gate is Helen Gillet, followed by Olivia Ogier. There's Alexandra Inghilterra,
Analise Van Hoang, Adriene Akiko,
Olivia Ma. There's Anastasia Sanders, bringing up the rear, Melina Costanza. We're getting things started right now. Helen Gillet joining us on the floor.
You'll see here Helen with that
little nervous
smile. She's probably a little bit of truth to that, but she's up and into it. It's a long left to right traverse, a lot of volumes, not a lot of holds to grab at the beginning, and not a lot of good feet. So just careful climbing across the beginning, and then we're going to get into some business time.
Once again, if you missed it, they've got one shot. That's it. So it's the finals round. You've done traveling to get here. You've made it through the qualifiers round, semifinals round. You've been in isolation for hours, and you come out, talk about the nervous energy. One shot, your job is to keep it cool and make good decisions. And that's what it means to be an athlete at the top of the game, I suppose. You got to deal with the pressure, and they do a fantastic job at that. Helen Gillet, amazing competitor to watch. So excited to see how it unfolds.
Yeah. She's seasoned enough. We have to say seasoned now. She's 22 years old, which in today's climbing is seasoned. She's been competing for a while. Sort of already improved over this year's Nationals results. She was 16th, so made the semi but didn't make the final at Nationals, and is climbing quite well here this weekend at Team Trials, and she's got to feel good about that. So just sort of here you get a good look at some of the wrestling going on. Pretty good holds on top of this volume. She'll probably sneak a rest here. And then where the color changes on the wall, it starts to kick back. This probably goes 35, nearly 40 degrees maybe for a short spout. And we talked about at the semifinal, we'll talk about it here, where I love it. Somebody probably yelled out. You can hear your name sometimes. The music's not super loud in there, so she might have heard her name.
Love it.
But you get into awkward positions in an angle change. You get pushed back. The top half of your body gets pushed back. And the feet, as you see here, that big black volume, not particularly good, not a lot to bite on.
Yeah, right. To see the first panel of this wall, all the gray terrain that she's just climbed through is just really technical, almost dead vert. And then it kicks back right here. And you can, with this camera angle, see a little bit the terrain. You can see that she's leaning back, and the character of the route changes so much. And we saw how that sort of affects the route and the movement in the qualifiers and semifinals.
Yeah.
And excited to see what the route setters put together here for us.
Yeah, definitely. And you're going to see some tempo changes too. So athletes might, when the holds are good and the pump is evident, you might see them start to speed up a little bit and make just snappier decisions, grab some holds. So
cool Helen, sequence
moving
here.
Moving confidently, really love this.
Moving towards the heel.
Ooh, getting into that. That's burly right there. Trying to get that heel to stick.
Underneath for the hand-foot match.
Yeah.
Looks like she's going to spin.
Very nicely read.
And hear the love from our in-house crowd there.
Yeah, love to see that. So people would have been talking about it. Is that what's going to be done? Can they not do that?
The back step heel hook.
A little bit off balance here. You see her, I think, fighting, but hanging in, shoulders up around the ears. That's a dangerous sign. I want to see Helen hang in here.
Helen's such a fantastic boulder. Oh!
Good work. Really, that's a good way to lead off our final there. I love this.
Quick replay. Leading with the heel.
Matching that crimp. That thing is bad. Yeah, and then
getting rotated back around, looking for the high left-hand side pull, trying to power up into it.
Another flat crimp out here. So sort of a few in a row, and then coming off, moving.
Here's Olivia Ogier, second climber out, second of 8, ready to do battle here. Helen's attempt, it really made me think, the first section of this route, the first few gray panels are not incredibly dynamic. They're not very showy, but so it wasn't very evident that Helen was fatigued when she was moving into the overhang, but it became clear right away that there's a lot more effort that went into the first third of this route than is immediately clear. You can't see how bad these feet are. You don't necessarily see the hip sagging or the sort of dramatic indicators of fatigue here, but that does not mean by any means that it is easy.
Yeah,
it's building.
It is building. It's sort of each move where you have to squeeze more than you want is stacking up on top of each other. There is a finite amount of energy in the tank, and some climbers will display pretty impressive amounts of stamina They won't have to squeeze as hard through here. They'll open hand a lot of the crimps. They'll kind of relax into positions differently. So they'll they'll use less power and less energy in this section, and they'll have it in the tank for the steep section. And then some endurance-related climbs. So there's a balance between endurance, stamina, power endurance. It's all sort of intermixed at all times. And the route setters, as easy as we've described their job to be, have to create the playing field to exploit some of that movement and that fitness. And did you bring enough to play in this space?
Yeah, the route setter is really trying to hit our competitors from all sides. Everyone's really good at something and not the best at other things. And in selecting our national team, you're trying to sort out who can handle it from all angles on a single route.
Including stress. Including when you come out of isolation, are you jittery, and are we going to give you a footless traverse, and are you going to slip because you're jittery? Look at this sneaky little
knee bar.
Sort of a step over stack knee bar. I don't think I've seen that in competition. I'm going to go with maybe one time.
These stacked knee bar techniques are new to me. It was only recently that I saw these start to make an appearance, and I love it. Olivia battling through, just entering the overhang here.
And this is clipping early.
Pretty calm here.
Looking pretty calm. I was going to say the same. This kick over to the heel hook, and I think this is probably going to be
nicely executed.
Is she going to go? Yeah, so she's not going to go all the way around backwards the way Helen did. She's sort of do the match face on instead of, undercling lean back.
Yeah, saves you a bunch of time. Still with that back step heel hook.
Oh, that's a hip. She's leaning her right hip. I've never seen that either. She's definitely leaning her right hip on what was that foothold that she came across on the heel hook.
That is nice. I hope that is as helpful as it looks like it might be, because that could do a lot for putting you in a good position to
She's getting
keep
a proper shake. I mean, that when she's on her left hand, it's bent.
Is that what she had her hip on that?
I think she did. Yep. And then she does stick that. Good stuff here. Olivia Ogier finding a bit of a stem. So some sneaky work here.
Amazing.
To preserve energy and
loses the friction on that left. It looks like the round. Here's a quick replay.
You can even see there the route setters. They're not super mean. They ticked that the crimp that when you're blind when you're coming into it as a handhold.
They'll do that occasional favors.
And she does get
Connects
that pretty
left
locked
hand.
in. Oh, the right foot slides.
Yeah.
And maybe even she was on the seam, which maybe loses a bit. It's you don't have quite the same amount of friction.
Here's Alexandra Inghilterra. A little moment. Gather yourself. Take your deep breaths on the floor. Get used to the scene with the crowd behind you.
Yeah.
Get started.
Get a feel for the
and
venue.
Then you get your 6 minutes on the clock.
And also just a good time as we see the belayer standing there in the background waiting patiently. Massive respect, massive thank you to the belaying crew here at Team Trials. It's one of the hardest volunteer positions to fill because you need to be very good at your job.
Yeah, all volunteer.
Yeah, all volunteer, and the climbers climb with sort of no regard for their own personal safety. They believe that the route setters have set a route where you can fall from anywhere, but you will see them climb past clips in order to get points, and the belayers need to be ready. You can't short rope climbers, so you can't. Right, they need enough rope to not get a technical, to not have an appeal because they couldn't clip a quick draw, and then you got to be on it when they make risky decisions. So massive respect, thank you to our belay crew of volunteers. That was a tenuous position just for a second there. All four limbs in a straight line. We try and avoid that whenever we...
Great job recovering here.
Take a deep breath, Alexandra. Just 16 years old, right? To have the poise to be at this stage of Team Trials. Crushed Youth Nationals, third place this year, and has some Youth World Championship experience, so has a bit of pedigree, but 16 years old now.
Yeah, the experience starting to grow, but in the end, your life experience isn't even that much. Mm-hmm. They're practically born into this, so they coming up in this competitive world, and it is an advantage to be just growing as you go as a person, growing as a competitor and a climber as well. So the amount of adversity you face as a competitive athlete, as a youth competitive athlete, really does set you up for some of the things that life will eventually throw your way. Youth athletes in all sports, but we're closest to climbing, and that's what we're most familiar with. And we do put them in isolated, stressful situations without teammates and coaches beside them all the time. So you grow up fast when you're a high-end competitive climber. Alexandra fighting with the long hanging quick draw, but
Again, just keeping her composure, taking a breath, and getting into what is starting to be the beginning of the business. So get a little rest here.
She's certainly going to need it. Hopefully she hasn't built too much fatigue here. This next
little
section,
shake in that right knee.
Fighting through it. These holds, you can see them. They're flat. They're large, but they are not good. No. Even the heel hook she's going to,
it's not good.
It's not good. It's sloping down. So this is incredibly taxing.
The contact strength. She's going to go not back to where she came from. This is match. Hand heel in close. Oh my goodness. Alexandra, can you reel it together? You can.
She's
cannot get enough to chalk. Crowd is getting behind her. Alexandra fights
Wants
for one.
the points.
Gets the points. Can she reach
Leaving
back?
the quick draw behind.
You can only go so far. You must clip. You climb past the point where you cannot make a clip. They will not let you continue. So maybe she can get enough recovery here.
Seemed like a good choice. She just saved herself. I mean, she's got a chance right now.
Yeah, you can't clip out of order. You can see she's eyeballing her decisions.
That's way left.
And your belayer is now paying an awful lot of attention. Alexandra Inghilterra, can you get into a position to make this clip? Oh, almost. This fight, Al. This is what we want to see in a finals. This is a battle. This is a battle.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I think if she can manage to get this clip, it's going to be that just clipping that is going to be the last bit of juice in the tank. Maybe she can get the plus if she can manage. She's backing up a little bit.
The crowd is really behind her.
Fighting so much.
Trying to get the position back, and she's going to get that plus and then come down. Wow.
A lot of grit there by Alexandra.
You don't get to see this all the time, and the save, like multiple saves.
It's a really uncomfortable idea to fall. And many of you watching know this very well, but you don't really want to fall, take the whip when you are clipping and have the extra slack pulled out. So,
right. So next up, we're going to have Analise Van Hoang. Give you a few tidbits along the way, but she has done exceptionally well at back-to-back Youth World Championships in both boulder and lead. So I suspect we're going to see her in bouldering on Thursday.
We talked about it briefly in the semifinals round. Analise in particular has like a athletic posture, the way that the hip mobility, the tension in the core, it's like moving in a very organized pattern. Shoulders in a good position all the time, and I'd love to see how it translates on the wall and how, it's not just strong fingers that'll get you really far in climbing. We all know that, but hip strength, hip mobility, and be able to connect the dots through your midsection, through your core. I think Analise demonstrates that some of the best just by watching her climb.
Quiet fluidity. She moves quietly. She moves. Everything has a purpose. There's not a lot of wasted movement.
Like the force is where it's supposed to be all the time.
Almost all the time. So she doesn't look like she's fighting positions. She just sort of falls into them naturally. Just a really smooth, enjoyable climber to watch. And, obviously, Al and I are getting down into the nitty-gritty, watching from home. You might just be like, oh, yeah, she moves a little bit smoother. But we're looking for all these little markers. And this is what we talk about natural talent or someone who's just been climbing for a long time at this age. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for and talking about. And she has it in spades. 4 podiums at Youth World Championships in back-to-back years. It's hard to podium at Youth World Championships.
Yeah, that's quite and not just over an extended career, but the last 2 years, like recently. So she's in it. Losing the feet for a second there.
Yeah, don't make liars out of us now. We talked it up. So she is getting a few, just maybe some shakes here before getting up into the business. We saw
you can see what she's
Helen
standing
hung
on
out
there.
here a little bit, yeah.
Or not standing on.
Not standing on, I was going to say. Just making the decision.
Oh, there you go. Hiding under there. She got a little something.
Yeah. Now up into the big slopey red section. Getting that clip a little bit higher. Some of the climbers took it a bit sooner and had to wrestle with it. Always looking
Love that
forward.
shot of that side pole hold. Not good. Just flat.
Early long crossbody clip. Sometimes a bad idea, but I think she thinks it's going to be, and probably right, that toe hook is going to be the difference to make that smooth. Heel hook high instead of low.
Little shuffle with the feet.
Shuffle. Maybe keep or drop.
Very nice.
God, I hate climbing into my own feet, Al. This kind of move crushes me, but she did it very smoothly, as pretty much everyone else has as well.
The left foot above the head, opting for the heel instead of the toe.
Will that stick? It will.
Really rooting for Analise here.
And then able to clip this quick draw from here, which is what Alexandra wanted to do. And looking strong. Getting a little half shake.
Very nice.
And that's going to put her...
Moving past 28, that was 29.
I think this is where we saw the smear slip come from Olivia. So she's going to get into that same position, but make it work. That's going to be your current high point. Oh my God, that right foot makes me nervous.
She's so good at this. She's got the hip flexibility and power. Oh!
Almost had it. Almost had it. Good stuff. We should, you can expect to see general progression as they do come out in reverse order, but
here's a replay. Ooh.
All of these women have the ability to climb this route, so you never know where someone's going to... Yeah.
4 more individuals that may be able to show us the way. Here's Adriene, Akiko, Clark. Yeah, it is. We talk about the stressful environments, and it is true, but also you get better at climbing, and you get better at that, too. You learn to feel at home. Mm-hmm. Under the lights, under the crowd, in isolation, and something that at one point in your career was enough to make you come unraveled. It just becomes,
you start to look forward to it. So
there's energy there, too.
Exactly. If you can harness the feeling of now or never, one try only, the pressure brings out the performance. That's something I always liked competing, and I know from a lot of the athletes that I've coached, they look forward to it, and they're able to hyper-focus when they're in that situation. Of course, there's still anxiety. Of course, it's in there, but...
Doesn't have to be bad.
Doesn't have to be bad, and they climb better in competition than they do in training.
Love this right pinch. It's screwed on there.
It's bad.
It's so shallow.
It's not the word I thought you were going to say. That was great. Thanks for that, Al. You gave me a moment of pause there. That was perfect.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
We're professionals.
Yeah, we are. It's very shallow. Moving confidently. Again, we'll see if she gets a little sneaky rest here. Electing to keep that low foot. I mean, the left foot's kind of in the seam. There's a little bit of a smear there. Not only a couple shakes.
This route, just from watching them, and especially that they end the vertical section of this climb with a decent shake on the corner of that large pillar of a volume, it makes me think this intro section here is just really hard.
Savage.
It's gassing the biceps
Yeah.
so hard here. You lose the feet. And just in a few moves, you may have been fine a few moves prior, but it powers you down really fast.
And I think it's the pinch one before this, these two flat edges, and the angle of this, what her foot is now on that she's got to transfer into, you have to squeeze. That contact strength is so sapping. She looks just sort of making decisions, and she's going to campus.
Full campus.
Okay.
Looks with the high left foot.
Okay.
Toes in.
Even there, you see that right hand almost in a bit of a wrap, getting maybe a little bit of extra friction. It's tactics. All tactics, small decisions, small changes between the athletes. We're going to see slightly different decision.
Big relaxation there.
Yeah, big out breath. That's important. Looking down, probably at the clock. They do see the clock as, maybe if you're late to join us, the clock in the bottom screen, it's not about how quickly you climb the route. It's that you must finish the route in 6 minutes, which seems like a long time from your couch. But as you see, we're at 3 minutes, and there's still a lot of rock climbing to go.
Well, hopefully she can stay on the wall long enough that timing out becomes a problem.
Problem.
Here she is, right
Higher
smear
stem,
outright.
You're right about that.
She's way up,
Boom.
Hips and chest.
And then
way up. Left toe hook to move around, pivot around that pinch. Adriene with the new high point, still looking
moving.
Pretty good.
Look how bad those feet are. So coming through some crimpy moves
amazing.
here. The move coming up, super excited. We're not going to give it away, but I'm super excited to see the move that she is setting up for right here.
Elbow starting to flare a little bit as she tries to problem solve. Smacking back that terrible left pinch side pull, bumping up to the jib.
Look at that left elbow. Oh, manages to get enough to recover here. If she can perch that right. No, not quite. You could definitely see the body language powering out. Excellent rock climbing from Adriene. Solid high point. Here, just the campus. And I love that.
Floats the left foot.
Yeah, the far right, maybe just getting a little extra purchase. And then the sandwich move.
Yeah.
And then got the foot up, but couldn't. It dry fired even. I wonder then if that dry fire doesn't go and she gets her foot on more solidly.
Here's Olivia Ma.
You just want to make sure you've remembered all the little bits and pieces. You're not forgetting an entire section. People are like, how did I get here? You don't want to have that moment. Olivia Ma setting off. Got another, youngster, 19 years old, coming off a 4th place finish at this year's Nationals.
Dancing your way across these feet here.
And a 5th at the Youth World Championships. So making a final at Youth Worlds, that's going to be feeling pretty good for her in recent memory.
Yeah, you build off of those successes. If you come into a round thinking that you can win, your chances of doing it go up so much.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all of the things you play in your mind, and you look up at the holds, you're like, oh, I love that hold. I can grab that all day. I don't care what you put at the top. Oh, pinches, I love pinches. You can talk yourself into pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Awkward clipping positions, bread and butter. I even like that, just that twist through. She clipped it sort of from the left and then spun over. We've seen a couple of the women be a little bit more vertical and have to fight that gentle barn door feeling, that feeling that you're just going to open on as if you were on a hinge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's navigating. She looks really good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to decide how she wants to manage this high left side pull.
Yeah, which isn't
Can't quite
great.
see behind it, but it looks pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't think there's an in-cut anywhere. Even the wrap on these two kind of crimps here, they're fine.
Yeah, mostly what I've adopted is for viewing at home, however good they look to you, just make it worse in your mind. Because they are definitely, the feet especially in the volumes that they're standing on. You all do comp routes and comp boulders at home. These are worse holds.
Yeah.
And even the positions that they're resting in, you might find you come and try to pull onto that position and you say, this is what they were on?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the amount of calf work to keep that knee bar.
It's really tipped out. Right on the corner of that.
Right on the corner. And so you're stressed through your core because if that toe slips, you're out because you're relying on the knee bar. So that's a stressful position. It's a rest, in quotes, but it's a stressful.
Big move out right.
Powerfully.
Looks to the right heel.
And sort of immediately into the heel.
Clipping. Sort of
I like this clipping position.
Double back step.
Yeah.
Heel with the left.
I mean, that's a bad crimp. We've seen some of the women clip early, but I like that clipping position. I think that's functional. She's going to stay. Oh, look at this. That's new. In really the heel hook spin around. Yeah, really trying to keep
the weight off the hands, avoid that campus situation.
She doesn't love that right hand.
It almost looked like she pinned her pinky down for a moment.
Yeah. So that's taxing.
Fighting through.
Manages to escape. Just the 10 seconds spent on a hold that you wish you didn't have to touch at all. Even here you see a little bit of stress creeping into that grimace. Olivia Ma, can she regain some composure? There it is. Just get some relaxation. Look at that.
Awesome
right
position there.
Position.
That is definitely maximizing how much of her body that she can get onto that.
Yeah. And
onto that feature.
I'm not going to say relaxing. That's the wrong word. But, it looks like she's hanging out.
Well, for the time and place.
Yes. Maybe, yeah.
Not the same type of relaxing you do at home.
No. All right. So she's
big right.
Is she going to go into the smear?
Looks for the
yes.
stem. Stretches it out to the left hand. Works the feet. Bumping that right foot up just a little bit.
Looks in control here.
Continues to move that right foot up. The clip. This is good.
Gaston. This is excellent. Comfortable match. Sort of ignoring that
Now chasing Adriene Akiko Clark's high point. Tags the left hand.
Oh, my goodness. Almost fumbled that. Manages to keep it. The feet are awful through there and just can't quite make the pinch stick. And the kind of, she almost fumbled that.
Love that replay.
Skips through the guarded part.
Tries to pivot left.
Yeah. That's so powerful. Look at the feet.
Need a lot of power to get this done. Cranking into the undercling.
And even there, drop the pinky.
And our next two competitors coming out.
So that right away, you can follow along on the live scoring app. It'll update pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
As we watch Annie Sanders, just absolute class rock climber at only 17 years old, get started on the finals route of her team trials excursion.
She's got a great style to watch too. Rock solid. She kind of flowing, swooping her way through moves.
Kind of bouncy, powerful when she needs to be. Super precise, technical climber. Everything you could look for. Sort of hallmarks, if you've been watching comp climbing for a while, all of the best, lead and boulders in recent memory all have that kind of style, and she's got it early. I say early, 17. People are winning World Cups at 17 at this point. But
sure.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah. But, we're talking about somebody here who made 8 semifinals in the World Cup circuit over the 2023 season at 16 going on 17. So she climbed in 10 World Cups and made 8 semis in both boulder and lead. That is looking at
gives you a sense of her level.
Of where she's at. And we don't want to jinx people's careers, of course. That could be the start of a beautiful career, but that is an excellent intro to your World Cup career, is to make your way into 8 semifinals. Some people never make a semi.
Yeah, of course. And here, again, national team trials, looking to gain a spot on the national team again so that those World Cup podiums can hopefully continue. But it starts here. You can't get through this one.
Yeah, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We like to play the story out in our minds. I've already got her on the podium in 2024 at the World Cup. We do like some Annie Sanders here. Absolutely. Just little, we see the little micro shakes, the things that keep you moving smoothly.
Great precision with the feet.
When you chalk, when you don't, when you breathe, how you decide to sort of wrap, where you get leverage from. These are all the little things that separate the elite from the people that, try really hard but just don't have the same pedigree as someone like Annie.
You can see here, not just resting. They're not resting and just looking down, resting and looking up, planning ahead, taking this time. When you're on the ground is not the only time you're sizing up the route.
No.
It's on your way up it. You get these little moments to say, okay, 3 holes in front of me. What am I doing there?
Yeah. And new information, right? As you get closer, you see where that jib might actually be. You see whether or not you can stand on what you thought you could. Can I grab that the way I think I could? So she elects to go. No knee bar, no time spent on that sloper. I'm sure she knows that that's exactly what she wanted.
Early clip out of that bicycle. Great position there for doing that clip.
Yeah, and for a bad flat edge, that's the least amount of weight you're going to put on it, is not in the position she was in. Here you're starting to really get into that crimp. And just making a quick on-the-fly adjustment. Every plan A needs a plan B.
Shuffle, switch to the heel. Come underneath.
Yeah. There we go.
Looking to keep the feet on. They're going to have to float for a moment.
Very calm.
Oh, looking good.
Very nice work. Just have to... I love the way you just have to it's a lot of climbing in a very small space.
Yeah, to not actually move very far.
Mm-hmm. She's just looking around to see where that next crimp is.
Making some
where
decisions.
to clip from, yeah. Starting to get into a wrap. So as soon as you see that thumb come up, she's been open-handing all the flat crimps to this point. Ooh. Is she a little bit pumped there? Or did she just sort of fumble it? Annie Sanders remaining composed. I'm here for it.
She does have incredible endurance. And there will be moments when I think she's starting to run out of steam, and then you'll see her do something, and you're like, oh never mind. No,
never mind.
Wrong about that.
Yeah, she was going to be absolutely fine. So there's the stem. I'd love to see the left foot come through further. Yeah.
Really stretching it out there. Managing to keep tension on the right foot.
Just very difficult through here.
Still focused. The clip.
A little micro shake there, a little wrist flick. That's going to, I mean, you might not think it's doing a lot, but it is. Gets the toe hook. Annie Sanders getting into the real business now of the blue section of the head wall. Looking very calm, Al. Decisions to be made.
Oh, stalling out a little bit, looking for what she's going to do with the feet.
Got to fight down for this under. That's not where I. It's not a great shake position, but you take what you need to.
In her ability to
Sanders
shake
is going to rose under. My goodness, she's fighting for something. She's got to make a decision. This is where all of your training comes in. You can hear Ahmed getting the crowd behind her. She
going deep. She's got to commit to it. Fights through. Oh!
Half a twist away from being able to maybe match the undercling.
And it's still in that moment.
You see, she manages to find a position where she gets into that, looking down, and if maybe she gets that, did she try and go? Oh my goodness.
Deep cross there.
Yeah, and it looked like she was going all the way to the pinch. Melina Costanza, your last finalist, crushed in qualifiers, nearly topped the semifinal route by
showstopper.
Yeah, 2 or 3
awesome.
holds further than everybody else.
I mean, having the bouldering prowess definitely helps you out on the lead wall, and you see her get into a sticky situation here and really be able to rely on that dynamic strength and power to get her out. So,
and she said she's got the fitness right now as well. So she has.
That's the whole package.
She has managed to pull the pieces together. There's historically a few climbers that have been exceptional in boulder and lead in the same season, and as you say, they're so different. They're few and far between. Sean McCall notably did exceptionally well in the World Cups in boulder and lead through a whole season, and it's just not easy to do.
Let's see her put it to the test, put it to work here. About halfway through this vertical panel, navigating that shallow pinch.
No problem.
Exactly what we expect here. Calm, cool, collected, taking that rest at the top of the pillar before entering into the first boulder of the overhang.
And got there very quickly. No hesitations, really. Now just looking around.
Yeah, it's another huge element of endurance. If you can climb the same amount of distance in half the amount of time, then you've effectively doubled your endurance. So another piece of strategy as well, assuming that your technique doesn't fall apart, but wouldn't expect that at this level.
No.
Here she goes. Wasting no time.
Yeah,
Throws the right heel.
Gonna go clip from the heel. No. She's going to change her clipping decision to the toe hook. So that's something you kind of think about.
Love that.
Yeah. And then, wow, manages to. I don't know that I love this, but I'll take it. So, eschewing the heel hook early goes Gaston and clips from a position that no one's clipped from by nature of not having the hands in that position. So, match that crimp. Went into Iron Cross and has now escaped the Iron Cross into essentially the position needed to get back to the spin move. So
amazing that she's getting this done right now. I'm worried that it's going to be a little costly.
You make your decisions. She knows she's got power, so maybe she just elected to use power instead of trying to be clever with toes and heels. She was like, I got it. Let's just go. And we got to trust her. At this point, we need to trust her decision making.
Above her own. For sure. She's gotten herself here after all.
And getting a little bit of a chill out here. And you see the left-hand position to shake the right is still a very engaged biceps. They don't spend too long there. Gnarly little crimp into the stem. Keeping that. Okay.
Trying to keep power in that right leg. If that right leg slips, you're out.
Yeah, even though you see her rolling into her toe on the inside edge.
Starting to fight here.
She is fighting.
Open on the left hand.
Come on now,
looking
Melina
to solve
Costanza.
this.
Oh my goodness, couldn't get through. Ooh, heavy fall. Could not get through the match. This here was too much power, and then ended up having to get back around in the circle anyway. Climb this. I loved this clipping position, but was it worth the expense? And then here you
start. It shows up. You start to see uncharacteristic fatigue at this point in the route.
See the pinky drops, and even there she's looking. What can I jump to? There's no feet. Currently, after appeal, Annie Sanders is going to be your winner. Olivia Ma, Adriene, Akiko in the third place position. The rest hasn't really changed. Melina Costanza, Analise, Olivia, Helen, and Alexandra. Welcome to the 2024 USA Climbing National Team Trials. We are getting ready for the lead final. From 8 up to first, Zachary Tan, Daniel Kolman, Ellis Ernsberger,
Sato, Ben Hanna, Ross Fulkerson,
Hugo Hoyer, Declan Osgood.
So here's Zachary Tan.
Zachary Tan going to kick off our men's lead final here at Sport Rock Rio in Maryland.
Zach Tan off the ground. Now, we've seen this section before. I am excited to see how much changes our route setters made. It may be that the changes just affect the transition into the left side of the route.
It could be, yeah. I heard them talking about taking hold off down here, but I haven't seen anything notably different yet. Even this next clipping position appears to be the same. Maybe they spaced something out. But just careful climbing. If you are just joining us and you're seeing the finals route for the first time, then you are getting to see the traverse for the first time. If you watch the women's portion, you've seen a pretty similar version. You think almost exactly the same coming up through
press,
here.
High right foot.
And a pinch is the same, right? That's not just the volume?
Shallow pinch. Yeah. Nope, still there. Okay.
Just getting his feet right. This is a bit uncomfortable. I like this clipping position. You're standing on volumes, right? They're leaning away. All the angles are just wrong. This is what the route setters are trying to do. They're trying to get you into your hands as early as they can. You've got to induce a bit of that stress fitness pump and make you question your decisions. So now where the women broke to the right, the men are going left. So they did take off the lower or both holds on the top of that volume. I think there was two jibs there. Now they're just wrapping the volume itself. So that's going to be a little less
secure. Zach Tan.
And they're on a pretty bad crimp on a volume. So you see that slip goes maybe 2 inches. That's the margin of error.
There it is again.
He's fine. Even comparatively easy. Daniel Kolman getting out onto the start of this route. Another relative youngster. Managing calmly. You got your nerves, right? You come out of you're super excited, Al. You've been in ISO for quite a while at this point because they go in at ISO at the same time as the women. So they've been in ISO since, I would say, probably at least 5:30, 5:15 probably was ISO close time. And it's now coming up on 7:45. So you've had a couple of hours and change to try and relax and then get warmed up and psyched out. So you come out of ISO, you're ready to go. And sometimes that energy, when you have a gentle, slow-moving beginning, you have too much energy.
Yeah,
you need
not
to be
always
calm.
working in your favor.
See here. So you'll see now this close-up, that lightning bolt is not a foothold. That's just that's the Squadra logo. So originally I thought that was a jib.
Yeah, I did
And then
too.
as we zoomed in, I'm like, why is no one using the lower jib? It's the logo. Daniel just getting a few shakes in. The position is good here because you can lean away from that. And as we saw, Zach.
Yeah, leaning back and to the right is a different situation than moving towards your foot, flipping your hands to the other side of that volume. And I mean, not that it was a hugely difficult. I think it just didn't go his way. He just got caught.
It's the volumes version of a dry fire. He just got a little slip. And now getting into where the wall changes color here. It kicks back in angle. And then this is, as we've seen in the semi and the women's final, the business begins. So we stressed you out down low. We made you think carefully. We made you squeeze. And now we're going to punch you in the nose. Let's see if Daniel can respond. Look at that sort of blocked. Good look down, a blocked crimp there.
Oh.
Losing his feet or choosing to cut him. Only he knows for sure.
Fights for it. Really holding it together, though.
Look, he's smearing. The left foot is a smear, Al, on bad crimps. Good stuff here.
I spoke to the setters briefly about that. I think he did that sequence a little bit differently than which they do all the time. They can do anything they can think of, but the foot cut moves kind of are part of the design, and that is a burly section of the climb.
And when you choose to do it is going to matter. Oh, he does get this compression move. Got a bump
power
again. Really good display of power. Look at that pinch. Oh, it's not a good hold.
Tries to lock in on that left heel for the match, but not enough. An instant replay. Hard cross. Roaring
there
through
was a
it.
power there. Scream coming out.
Love that.
A couple micro shakes.
Yeah.
Even that readjustment is right here. He's fine.
This is a powerful section of climbing here.
Tries to get that high heel. Ellis Ernsberger now coming into the frame. Getting ready through this slab section.
Here he goes, leaving the ground.
I'm gonna navigate. This is the kind of you get to sit a little bit further back from the edge of your seat through the opening. It's not quite as punchy and fighty as the semifinal introductory sequence was. They're gonna climb carefully through here. I don't expect to see anybody fall in this section, but I expect them to make varying levels of good decision making to set themselves up for the lead of the head wall.
Also, we've been shocked so many times today, and I certainly did not expect Zach Tan to fall. So at this point, I'm afraid to look away.
Yeah, I mentioned to the route setters how much we enjoyed their semifinal because of what it allowed us to bring to the broadcast, which was you and I having multiple moments of going and
so
being
many.
so kind of engaged, surprised, and not looking away from the screen for a minute. Not blinking, don't.
Yeah, elbows
if you're
on the
at
table,
home,
hands on the forehead.
yeah, if you're going to go and grab a beer from the fridge, pause the stream. You don't want to miss anything on the routes that have been put here.
Ellis fighting a little bit, punching up a little bit into that left undercling.
And it's okay to a red line and relax. That's part of lead climbing sometimes is hit the red line, do what needs to be done, and then try and back up and recover. Moves quickly out, doesn't really take any time to shake on the corner of the volume. I'm good with it. You know, if he's got that sort of sprint power, that's what you want to climb to. Climb to your strengths.
It looks like he's in a decent enough position here. Feet right under him.
Yeah, so maybe not as good of a hold, but a much better position. Although that looks decent.
It looks... I'm going to apply what I told our viewers to apply, is take what you think that looks like and make it worse in your mind.
Yeah.
And that'd be closer to what it really is.
He is half cripping it, so it's not like open hand relaxed. Yeah. And there's a couple really good looks at how gnarly the holds are coming into this section. So into this, it's kind of
all
smears.
Crazy tension here.
Yeah, keeping his feet about him for now. Really good stuff. So you see that big knee brace. He did suffer a knee injury, so he's got a torn meniscus in that left knee, which is it's annoying. I've done it. It affects your mobility. It's not letting him bother his climbing too much, having climbed his way into the final. But he's going through it right now.
Executed that section really well. Had the double clamp on the volume on the far right, deep cross into this hold that he's in now, and then a controlled rip lands him where he is now. Looks for the high left hand on the tick.
Doesn't have to readjust the foot in the middle of this move. That's pretty important. Recovers.
Now what's he going to do?
Oh, that squeeze. He's not. I was going to say, he won't be able to twist that left knee down into a deep.
No.
Oh, almost recovered from the right foot slip.
Drop knees and heel hooks, and you've got a knee that's not 100% cooperating.
So he misses that on the dual techs.
Recovers.
And then that match. And then you see as the foot comes up, it doesn't bite.
Floats him.
Keeps it and then out.
Here's Nathan Sato.
And if you've watched any or coached or parented any youth climbers, they don't get pumped the same way the adults do. They have slightly better systems and less muscle, and they will hang out. I've seen them time out in the middle. They're just resting. They just refuse to make the difficult move, and they just wait until the clock times them out, but they just won't let go. So
posted up, open handing on a couple crimps.
Yeah, and they're there all
day. That's all it takes. Here's Nathan Sato.
Just 18 years old, coming off a 6th place finish at Nationals, and dialing back a year to 2022, put himself in 8th place at Youth World Championships, which is fantastic. Making a final at the Youth World Championships is very, very difficult, and that is, we always talk about podiums as though, you didn't, we're looking for people to have podium finishes. No. Making a final is a big deal. A lot of people will never make a final at any point in their career.
Yeah, it puts you in your top 8 of your age group on the planet.
Yeah.
Is a pretty sweet spot to be.
It's a pretty sweet spot. So, of course, you're always hunting tops and you're always hunting podiums. Nathan having a little... I love it that kind of... When they look back at the crowd gives them a little love in return.
They love it.
Sometimes they wave. If you see somebody feeling super fresh, I've actually seen climbers on lead routes in a good rest sort of give a little give me a little bit. So a little play with the crowd.
I feel like our crowd is always just waiting for those moments.
And some of them are so focused that they just won't do it. And then some of them are confident enough in moments and when it's cool when it happens.
Yeah, love those moments.
He's getting a good rest here.
This is great. He's going to need it.
Yeah.
Really physical bouldering ahead of him.
Just trying to get the heart rate back down and trying to get some of the blood back into your forearms. You want to get that lactic acid out. You want to just give your hands a break from squeezing. You stressed your forearms out so much. And they did climb their semifinal this morning. So the overall taxing 2 qualifiers yesterday, semifinals this morning. It builds across those 2 days. And here we go.
Shot.
Yeah, the wide shot's great. All right, Nathan.
Entering into the business.
And the angle changes, so that's a bit of an open book. You see just the colors between his right and left foot in the gray. So it does change a little bit. It's underneath them, but it's still terrible. It's by no means meaning to suggest that the smear is good.
Tough position to clip from.
Yeah.
So much weight in that right hand because he's not clamping with the feet.
Just
fighting through, looking so
good.
Strong.
Getting that right foot on immediately, that's important. Now a little adjustment and looking at the clock.
Oh, he seems to be in a fine place right now. That was very physical.
And I love a little bit of that kind of route setting where you kind of are relaxed, punchy, and then relaxed again. So quite a lot of rock climbing happened in those 10 feet. And then he does need to recover here.
Yeah, and then the handhold, though, is good. He is relaxed in the hands, but still basically footless.
Yeah.
So you can't just camp out forever.
Into this
Here he
pinch,
is,
will he
looking
find?
to match it. Finds the match.
He does. Cross, feet up through. If he's able to get this match
looking for the high
here.
point right now.
Oh, and clipping out of there. Wonderful
nice
stuff. Nathan getting a baby knee scum. Just enough. Has a quick look back. The clock is not in any danger just yet, Nathan.
Bit of a restful
there we
round
go.
here so
Gave
far.
the crowd a little wave. Almost as if we commanded it.
Manifested our dreams into reality. Nathan Sato styling this route, taking the crowd with him on the ride, gaining the high point. Let's go, more. Nathan.
Love that knee scum. His footwork has been his footwork has been impeccable. He comes off there looking up with that shrug.
Instant replay. Love the knee bar. Helps so much. Not a full rest, just planning the next moves. Here he is.
He looks fine.
The left heel.
It's locked in. That looks fine. And he's looking to move the right hand dry fire. Benjamin Hanna now coming out. And he, one of the 2 climbers to top a really nasty slab qualifier yesterday and climbed it with such style. We'll see what he can put down here. He is, as he said, in good fitness and loved the semifinal because it was a rock climb. So it just looked like a gnarly 8C like rock climb. You know, it was sustained and difficult, and he lapped it up. So this also feels like a rock climb. There's not too many showy moves. If you can squeeze and move, you will be just fine.
I think Ben Hanna is going to be just fine. He's talented young man and wants it bad. I mean, you put those two things together and great results happen. We've seen that from him time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully no surprises here, no early slips or upsets.
Just a good look at that wide pinch. Coming into this sort of side pull, and that's a good look at. We thought it was maybe flatter than that. It's definitely not. It's a flared, sort of sloping rail, but keeping a close eye on that right-hand wrap. Ooh, that's far. Benjamin. That's a tactic.
There we go.
He gave it a little nudge.
A little swing.
Yeah, a little swing. That's veteran savvy.
Our sport climbers know all about that.
A rueful head shake there, so maybe he thinks he wasted some gas. And taking no rest here either. Jumping up into that. All right, Ben Hanna. Time to go.
There he goes. Time to turn it on.
It's into the walkthrough.
Steps across. Double smear.
Like
quick
it.
clip.
Yeah, like it.
Puts it in the right hand. Clamp with the feet. Stretching it out.
He's even there just looking around to see if he liked to position better, and did.
Does it a bit different. Now, that's the sequence that I discussed with the route setters initially, is the long reach with the left hand, bump to Gaston.
Kind of the salvation hold through this sequence. That's as good as it gets for a long time.
Yeah, that's huge. I feel like it's not common to have routes or holds that good on this route at all, or on a finals route. So it almost, it's nice, but it indicates you got a lot of difficulty ahead of you.
And it tells you that how bad the position is. The feet aren't really taking that much weight, etc., etc. So Ben, enough gas to sort of stall before looking for the crimp. Doesn't like it.
Backs up.
Needs a little more juice in maybe that left hand. Knows the pinches are coming. Is going to skip it. And Hanna opting to go
the right.
way outside the sequence we've seen. Just maybe minimizing the
Deep
amount. Is he? Oh, what is that?
Whoa.
What is that?
Drop. This.
His foot is upside down.
Deep drop knee in the knee bar.
His foot is facing the sky. Benjamin Hanna, what have you done here? You're going to get a rest.
There we go. Look, cammed in, toe hook. What do you...
My knee hurts just looking at that. Ben Hanna is going to get a rest on a hold that is as bad as any. Could be huge.
This could be huge.
Oh, my goodness. Can he get out of it cleanly? Okay. Yes.
He's still under the clock. He can't stay there too long, but that did seem to be a rest that was quite helpful to calm things back down. Here he is, pushing through.
Gets that little knee scum here. He's on his hand, which I don't love. Got to fix that.
Looking to pass Nathan Sato's high point.
Does. Can he get the right foot up? Can he get the right foot up?
Come on, Ben Hanna. Looks for the right foot. Connects. Gets the match.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. And enough to clip this one, too. Benjamin Hanna putting on a clinic right now.
Sturdy in the body. Ben Hanna fights for it.
Elbows aren't coming up yet. Getting little micro flicks on that wrist. Ben Hanna, what have you got?
Looks for the right hand.
Left foot. The left foot up. Yes.
So much grit in Ben Hanna.
Wow.
An incredible amount of fight.
We're going to see this
early on. Deep drop knee.
Which turns into a knee bar. I mean, is it even a knee bar? What do you call that?
Well, I think I would. It's a drop knee, toe hook knee bar.
To thigh scum. I love the handprints. And then here, this is a great look at how bad this section is. The foot is giving you almost nothing, and that right hand hold is abysmal. And he dragged his left foot over.
This grit. Just to get the left foot over there and still stay on the wall.
I wonder if he went to the crimp. If Ross Fulkerson now, he would have heard that point because that's as loud as the crowd has been in recent memory. That's the games you play with yourself. Or he's got his headphones on and has no idea. Some competitors choose to have ignorance as bliss.
We will see.
We
One
will
thing I
see.
do know is that Ross has a bit of that animal instinct inside him as well.
He
He's
does.
Big effort, very vocal. We discussed that earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Not only when it's just the big screams and everything in between. Always a good time. Excited to see what he's got in store for us.
Yeah, we're excited up here in the booth. It's great. I mean, I've been grinning since the start of the women's round. This is really, we're being treated to some fantastic rock climbing.
Moving quick there.
Some
That's all right.
risky high, and he's clipping late.
We're okay, Ross.
Okay, Ross, we're good. 23 years old, put down a third at Nationals this year, which is his best Nationals result in recent years. And got a couple of semifinals in Bouldering World Cup. So he's a dual sport as well. Dual sport, dual discipline. And that's the quickest anyone's got to this point. And wasted no time anywhere on the route. Big, tall man. He's going to find this position better than most because he's going to have a little more pressure. He's not going to take it. So no double smears. Okay. Ain't no thing, Ross. And no problem.
Clamp.
Love it.
Bump to the gas stone.
Love that. Love that sort of open. Open your chest. Get that deep breath.
Bring it back down.
I wonder if we're going to see anyone else do Ben's right hand pinch, left hand out. No. Ross is going to go kind of as designed. He's a bad hold.
Yeah, you
heard
can
it there.
hear it. We love it.
Ross into the fight now. Does he
get
get it?
the match?
Yes,
Unwinds.
and cannot quite unwind. You saw he did the deep drop knee.
This beta, Ben Hanna approached this a bit differently, and I wound up loving his method. It looked.
Yeah.
There's a replay. Looks for the right hand.
And he's going to get. That's going to be Daniel and Ellis are also both there. The match is sort of 29 or 30s because you have to rely on all those other sort of. Some of them are intangibles. Some of them are wildly tangible.
Yeah.
Can you pinch this? Can you crimp that? Can you keep that foothold position? So, yeah, you put anyone else in that position, and they don't necessarily get out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same way for everybody. Here's
All right, Hugo Hoyer. Let's move
Back
ahead.
on
We're still
track.
talking about Ben 2 climbers
We're in
later.
the past. We're excited. We love Ben.
Yeah.
We're
moving forward.
Hugo
Hoyer. Yeah, and he is a 17-year-old, and he's your current national champion. Also coming off of pretty solid results in Youth Worlds. So he's a gold medalist at the 2022 Youth Worlds
Pretty
in bouldering.
solid.
Yeah, in bouldering. And then 6th in lead. So double finals at Youth World Championships.
Quite solid. And then, once again, lead gold medalist at the Yeti National Championships back in October.
Mm-hmm.
That route, that day, quite different than this one. It stacked up World Cup boulders, very dynamic, very high risk, and Hugo's amazing at those things. But his breadth of skill really is quite broad. So,
and you were mentioning earlier that when you take somebody who's double disciplined, who's excelling at bouldering as well, they're more comfortable executing bouldery moves on a route. So they're able to dial into that confidence and knowledge to decide to do risky bouldering related moves where other people are more hesitant. You see them kind of double clutch, make second guess decisions.
Totally.
And he just sort of bears down and says, "Yeah, this is what needs to be done.
We do this every day."
Yeah, this is nothing for me. I jump to bad crimps on the regular." And he's absolutely moving quickly. Didn't choose to rest anywhere down there.
He looks comfy as can be.
He does. The speed with which he's got here, and as hard as Ben fought, Ben looked like he was working, and Ross looked like he was working here, and Hugo looks pretty chill.
He's got a special nonchalance to his style. We also discussed this earlier in the day. He plays it loose. He
did go Ben's right hand pinch method, and then he's going to go hook,
shaking it up.
Right. So our fourth
Is he
method,
gonna keep it, look for the cross. Not a problem letting it go. He surprises me all the time. At some point, I got to stop being surprised by it.
And how clean that right foot came up. Like really, really clean. You saw Ellis fight to get that foot up and slip. Daniel slipped there. Hugo
passing Nathan Sato's high point.
Looking
very nice.
good.
Rolling around to get the angle on that side pull, keeping it in the left heel.
Now it's about foot position.
This is good for Hugo Hoyer right now.
Goodness.
The hip mobility, Hugo Hoyer's got it all right now.
Oh, he has it.
No!
Oh, that's going to be our high point. He manages to get that little sort of false drop knee.
Let's see it. Earlier, first boulder here, really.
Really casual. Yeah, as you say, playing it loose, not looking worried. And then right here, I really like this toe hook. Little micro shakes.
I was worried for a moment that it would be an issue to let that loose. Okay, here we go.
Watch that left
Love
hip turn in. Love that.
Love that. Looks for one more.
And almost
so
has
close.
it.
Here's Declan Osgood, last competitor of the day.
I mean, as you said in the intro, we've maybe been sleeping a little bit on Declan and shouldn't be. At 16 years old, he has done some things, and he climbed exceptionally well on the semifinal.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping on it anymore. Declan Osgood is I've definitely got my eye on his climbing, and let's see it. Let's see it unfold right now. Hugo Hoyer, high point, way on the route. He's got his work cut out for him.
You know he's sweating in the chair. He knows he climbed really, really well, and he knows what Declan. I'm assuming he knows what Declan's capable of. So you're in the chair. You never hope for someone to fall before you, but you definitely want to win.
You want to win, and it's tough. It's
tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough. All right, Declan. No rest on the volume. No stress at this point. Maybe a couple little shakes here. Get some chalk back on the fingertips. Looking around. Where do I want to put my feet? And into the business.
Here we go.
Efficient clipping should not be understated, overrated. It's amazing to
huge factor,
clip,
especially when the clipping positions are so
horrible,
frankly,
awful,
insane.
Yeah. All right, getting a shake here in the double smears. That's tenuous enough to make, I'm sure, a coach nervous. Getting the squeeze, but not looking worried. A smooth float cut.
That was nice.
And no shakes. Well, Declan firing on a good bit of... He's believing in his own stamina. He's going to get... Don't pinch your... Jeez.
I don't know how to interpret some of this.
No.
It could be great strategic moves. Maybe that's just how he's feeling. The right choice is to just keep it moving.
Just keep moving.
Don't get hung up.
Some climbers are sprinters, right? Some climbers don't recover super well. They basically try and outrun the pump. Holds this swing. Not quite so clean, but gets his foot higher. And now Joe doesn't even need the knee scum.
Left hand bump. Good. Great hip mobility with the high right foot.
Declan Osgood. I mean, you want to see it come down to the wire, and we are going to see it come down to the wire.
Next
edge of your seat
moves.
stuff.
Wide left foot, left hand, looks to bump again.
Looks in control here. Feet walked through, and he's clipping.
It's a different situation right here.
Yes,
Declan Osgood with the high left toe hook.
Oh, man, wait a minute. It's not. That looks strong.
That's control right there.
That bump is control.
Let's go.
Declan Osgood with that upward kind of pop is going to be your
That's enough.
2024 team trial lead winner.
Here he is again. High left hand bump.
This is so clean. This movement pattern.
The hip mobility, this wide left step is huge.
Yeah. And then
he's fine right now.
Right, and the walk through here, he's fine. The clip here, critical, because you wouldn't have been able to do it from. I mean, tries to think about a pinch.
Experimenting with the high left toe hook at face height.
That foot is terrible. P.S.
Love
the high red foot.
That move coming, that's tough.
Yeah, definitely Declan's going to be 40 plus, but even on countback, your winner's going to be Declan Osgood, Hugo Hoyer in second place, and Benjamin Hanna is going to be your bronze medalist on an inspired performance.
I love this day, this scoreboard.